What if I told you that tariffs, often presented as a way to make foreign countries pay, are actually paid mostly at home? That's not an opinion. It's the conclusion from recent analyses by Financial Times and Reuters. And once you understand this, you start to see tariffs very differently, not just as a geopolitical tool, but as a domestic economic policy. Let's start with the basics. When a government imposes a tariff, it's a tax on imports. Politically, it's framed as, we're making foreign exporters pay. But the real question is not who pays up front. The real question is, who ultimately bears the cost? Economists call this tax incidence, and this is where things change. According to Reuters, U.S. companies are the first to absorb the cost. Their import costs rise, and their profit margins shrink. But companies don't just accept losses forever. They adjust. They raise prices. And that's when consumers start paying. So the burden spreads. Companies pay first. Consumers pay next. And what about foreign exporters? They do pay something, but much less than people think. Studies cited by the Financial Times show that foreign firms absorb only a small portion. So here's the key takeaway. Tariffs are not mainly paid by foreign countries. They are mostly paid at home. So what does the actual breakdown look like? Roughly speaking, 30 to 50% to consumers, 40 to 60% to domestic companies, only 5 to 15% to foreign exporters. That means up to 95% of tariffs are paid domestically. Now the big question, why does this happen? Why don't foreign companies pay more? There are three main reasons. First, market size. Large economies like the United States have strong consumer demand. Foreign companies don't want to lose access to that market. So instead of cutting prices dramatically, they pass most of the cost along. Second, supply chains. Modern production is global. Many imports, especially components, cannot be easily replaced. So companies have no choice but to absorb higher costs. Third, global production networks. Trade today is not just about finished goods, it's about interconnected supply chains. So costs don't simply move abroad, they circulate and often come back into the domestic economy. So structurally, tariffs behave less like a penalty on foreign countries and more like a tax embedded within the domestic system. Now let's step back and look at the broader implications. First, inflation. Tariffs act like a hidden tax on consumption. They increase import prices, which pushes overall prices higher. That makes it harder for central banks to lower interest rates. Second, corporate profits. Companies face higher costs. They either accept lower margins or raise prices. Both hurt performance. Third, economic growth. According to analysis from the Financial Times, tariffs are already weighing on global growth. They reduce trade, increase uncertainty, and slow investment. Now, what about markets? Tariffs increase uncertainty, and markets react to uncertainty. We typically see higher stock market volatility, delayed rate cuts, pressure on global trade sectors. They are also winners and losers. Winners: domestic manufacturing, defense, reshoring industries. Losers: global supply chain industries, technology, export-dependent sectors. So here's the final takeaway. Tariffs are not just about geopolitics. They are a domestic economic policy with global ripple effects. They don't mainly make others pay, they redistribute costs within your own economy. And in the end, tariffs don't just affect them, they affect you.